Does God violate his principles? For example, a person becomes rich without working hard by following treacherous ways, or a certain person receives a financial blessing without much effort. So the principles are not absolute. Are there some exceptional conditions where principles don't apply? Also, what is the relationship between...
Wait, let me you that one.
Okay.
First of all, if somebody becomes successful without hard work or without following some principles, that is not that the principles are not absolute. The principles are absolutely absolute. They are definitely absolute. But there are exceptions sometimes that doesn't depend on you.
Okay.
Things about principle, there are some things you need to know about principles. It is the fact that principles will tell you how things are done.
Okay.
And what are the expected results. But it doesn't tell you that at all time, there might not be an exception. It doesn't say that is exactly the result you will get all the time, 100%.
Right.
And that is, there is no way any other person can get that same result. The principle just tells you that if you follow these particular principles, you will get to this result. It doesn't mean that any other person cannot get it through another way, because there might be other underlying factors that not everybody will know. It's just like saying planning. Some people are saying, why plan? That, each time I plan, I never really meet my target. Let's say, for example, I plan that every day I will do this, for a whole year. And then I discover that it never really gets on dot. Yeah, but planning is not for you to get there right on dot, as you have said. Planning is to just keep you in the focus. Planning is just to guide you to move in the right direction. When you don't have plan at all, you are just in one place, or you are just working as a skater. But when you have plan, at least you know you are moving in that direction. When you have plan, at least you are pursuing that goal. At least, even if you are getting there late a little bit or early a little bit, at least you know where you are getting there. It's predictable. It's making life predictable. So also it's principle. But it doesn't really guarantee you that is exactly the same this time, this very minute you get there and something, or another person can, anything could happen. There could always be an exception. That's why we are all working under God. And that is where the God factor comes in. And not just this God factor, but fourth dimensions comes in. Some people might be able to use other laws of the fourth dimension that supersedes the law of nature. But the way things are supposed to be run, you are told. The way things are supposed to be done, that is the way it is. That's the way it operates. Somebody now can come and do something, magic, and get some result, but it will not get it all the time. Just like unlike magic, you cannot always guarantee it. Magic will only come as an exception somewhere, sometime, but it's not something you can predict. You have to know what to do, how to do it for it. The magic, somebody else, you have to call somebody to do it for you. It's not somebody anybody can just do. But laws and principles are something everybody can just follow and do. And then you know what the outcome will be. But in terms of miracles, you have to depend on God, either God will do it or he will not do it. Either, it's the will of God, it's not the will of God. Somebody has to pray, somebody has to do something. But it's not like certain. It's not like predictable.
Wow.
So that is the difference between... so even though there might be exceptions, miracles could happen. Like, for example, we know that people who have died for 3 days, they are not supposed to wake up. But sometimes it happens. And even though it's a miracle like that, that doesn't mean that you go and be saying that, everybody can just be waking up from there. The truth is still that the principle is that when you die, you don't wake up. Yeah. So that is more the principle that you could rely more on. It's just like saying somebody could touch electricity and they don't get shot. But that's not the rule. It's just God who have mercy on you that day. But that's not the rule. It's just like saying some people said, Jesus said, if you touch snake and you take snake, it will not bite you. But then some people, there is a whole denomination in America that are just going to pick snake for fun. Yeah, and they are dying. And they are wondering why God is not touching. Because they have picked it one time, nothing happened. Pick it second time, nothing happened. Then they begin to do it as a show. And they begin to die one by one. All of them have almost died now. Finished. I will show you the internet is there. So the thing about principle is that, principle at least gives you the orientation. It gives you the predictable. It makes life predictable.
Yeah.
It makes life certain, predictable, easy to. It opens your eyes. At least you know the direction you are going. It's just, what principle does is that it's just like this room right now. You are here, and if they put off the light, you don't know how to go. That's life without principle. You are groping. You are hitting your head, you are hitting your leg, you are hitting. That is life without principles and laws. But when laws are there, it's like the light are on. At least you see where you go. It doesn't guarantee that you will go out there, because it's still your will to go out there or not to go out there, even though the light is there. It doesn't also guarantee that even though the light is here, that you will not accidentally hit your leg against this thing sometimes. Even though the light is there, but it can still happen that maybe you didn't calculate your movement enough, or your balance is not okay, so you could still hit your leg. You understand what I'm saying?
I get it.
But at least the light makes you to be able to be at peace and guarantee, what to expect.
Wow. Awesome. That's so true, Pastor. So true. So the exceptions does not break the rule.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exception does not make the principles invalid.
Right.
Can you read this question again?
Yeah. So he said, okay, dear Pastor, does God violate his principles?
So it's not about God violating his principle this time. It's not about God. It's just, God could do anything. That's why he's God. He could violate his principle. He could do miracle. He could do exceptions. That's why he's God. Yes, God violates his principles all the time. But we are not supposed to rely on that and live on violation and live on exceptions. We're supposed to live on the laid out principle he had already given.
Okay. So he now went ahead to say, for example, a person becomes rich without working hard by following treacherous ways, or
because
a certain...
the person that has become rich without working hard and following treacherous ways, wicked ways, or evil ways, is possible. He has broken the law, he has stolen, and became rich. We have people carrying drugs. We have people selling arms. We have people, even Bible tells us about that also. You could also be rich that way. But there will be consequences, and consequences will even deprive you of that so-called rich one day. And it will also deprive you of your life one day, or your freedom one day.
Wow. Okay. So he now said, by following treacherous ways, or a certain person receives a financial blessing without much effort. So the principles are not absolute.
They are absolute. It doesn't make it not absolute. For example, let's say somebody wins lottery. Okay. Yes, he didn't work out for it. It's like a violation of that principle, because he didn't go to work. I just put $5 or $1 and won $1 million. But we also know that 80% of all those people who win it that way, because they didn't work hard for it, they don't know how to keep it, because they need that same hard work anyway to still keep it. And they still need the knowledge that other people used to gain it to at least keep it too. So that's why in the next 10 years, all of them are back in square one. Why? And that is also being said, even though you got it, but it's not the kind of wealth that you want. A wise person will not get that kind of, will not like to take that kind of wealth, because he doesn't know what to do. He has not mastered how to manage that wealth.